Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we'll be writing our first program in Zig, and the first program that we'll be writing is just a simple hello world program, whereby it will just print something in our console that with the statement hello world. So the classic hello world. If you are if you're not a new programmer, you know that this is the convention in the programming world. You have to write this program. Yes. Now without further delay, let's get into it. So I'm using Visual Studio Code as my text editor of choice, but if you have any IDE or text editor that you are comfortable with, you're free to use it. But as for me, I'll be using the Visual Studio Code text editor. So just open your program or your editor or Visual Studio Code, create a folder and just drag and drop it inside the program. So before starting, I will show you an extension that it's available in the extension marketplace, or the extension tab over here, which will be helping in some useful snippets and syntax highlighting, which will make our programming much easier. On your Visual Studio Code, just visit the extension tab over here, just click it and search for Zig language. This one over here, just click it and install it if you hadn't installed this beautiful extension. So this extension will help you in syntax highlighting and suggest for you some very useful snippets. So after installing it, just go in the Explorer over here. We'll close this one, and here is whereby we'll be creating our files. So I will not be using the initializer or the Zig project initializer. We will be creating these files manually, but as we go on, we'll use that project initializer, as if I'm not wrong. But as for now, we'll be writing these files manually and compile them manually. So go ahead and after you have drag and dropped your folder inside your program, just create a file. In VS Code is very easy. Just click on new file over here, click it, and I will name mine main.zig. So if you have noticed that Zig files ends with the .zig extension, so if you see .zig, you will know that this is a Zig extension. So this is where we'll be writing our source code, so inside this space over here. So, and I will be taking you step by step on how to write, or the procedure of writing this program. So first of all, we have to import something that we call the standard library. So just type, I will explain it. So const, so meaning you are declaring a const variable. We'll see variables in other videos. So just type const. Const means something that doesn't change during program runtime. So const followed by the name. So I will name it std as it is the convention. Then followed by the equal sign. Then at import. Then open the brackets, and followed inside you just type the double quotation mark and just type std. So, and then just terminate it with a semicolon over here. So let me explain this code. So here we are saying we are declaring, so this is how we variables in Zig are declared. So just you can start with const, which const is it's a keyword in Zig, so meaning that what you're declaring over here won't change, so it's constant. Followed by the name, so std. It doesn't have to be std, you can name it whatever, you can name it standard or anything, but it is convention for you to name it std, meaning standard. So followed by equal sign, so this is the assignment of operator. So we are assigning a value to this variable over here, and this value is this library that we are importing. So this at import, we're importing a library or packages from some other places inside our code. So you can see this as a normal library. If you go inside the library, you see there are many books, so whereby you can go and pick the ones that you want to use. So we'll be picking one particular function called print, which we'll be using to print something inside our console. So after doing this, so this we're importing a library called standard, so std. So std comes with some useful functions or utilities that will help us in writing our program and will make our time very enjoyable or easy. So after doing that, I will go ahead and declare a main function. So I will just say pub meaning it's a keyword in Zig, and pub is we call them access modifiers. So pub meaning public, so pub, followed by fn meaning that we want to declare a function. So this function will be in the public domain, so pub. Fn also it's a keyword, so meaning function, followed by the name of the function. So I'll name it main, and I will be telling you why I've named it main. So just type and followed by these brackets, then followed with these curly braces over here. So let me explain to you. So we are saying we are declaring a function in the public domain, so this pub meaning public, then fn is just a keyword inside Zig, which will tell Zig that this is a function that we are declaring. Then there is this main. This main is a special word whereby when the Zig compiler starts running our code, it will see an entry point, or it will start executing our code inside this main function. So when the Zig compiler compiles our code, it starts executing inside this main function over here. So this is the entry point of our code, of our program. So we haven't finished over here. Any function has a return type, so meaning that a function may return a value, it may return an error, it may return any sort of okay, there are two possible options, so a value or an error, an error. So we must specify to Zig that this function has a return type, and if it doesn't have, you just return void. So void meaning that our function doesn't return anything. So if you're not familiar with functions, you can see them as a block of code whereby you can write some code that you may want to reuse in later sections. So we'll see functions in later videos, but as for now, just know that is a grouped code whereby you can group certain amount of code or certain sections of code, and you can reuse them, or you can call this function outside or on other code sections. But we'll see functions in deeper details in the coming videos. So just know that a function must have a return type, but if it doesn't have a return type, you must say it returns void, meaning nothing. So we haven't finished. So saying that this function, you must put the exclamation mark over here. This meaning that if it may return an error. So this is a way of telling the Zig compiler this function may return an error. So let me expound again. So pub meaning public, we're declaring a function in the public domain. Then fn is a way of telling the Zig compiler this is a function we're declaring, followed by main. So main is a special word that you have to write for the Zig compiler to see that our main entry point inside our code or inside our program starts from inside this function over here. Then followed by a exclamation void, meaning that this function won't return anything and it may return an error. So that's why we have put we have typed this exclamation mark over here. So inside here is where we'll be writing our code to print simple programming to our console. So I'll go ahead and just type std dot debug dot print. So now, and then terminate your statements with a semicolon. So you have to remember that Zig, each statement or expression, you must terminate it with a semicolon. If you don't, or you forget, it will result to an error. So this, we are just accessing, we want to access this print function, which will help us to print something on our console. So we are saying go to the standard, this variable over here. Inside the std there is this package or module called debug, then inside there is a function called print. So it's just that easy. So inside here is where we will be writing our program. So just type double quotation marks, meaning that you want to print a string, and a string is just a sequence of characters. So something like your name, if your name is Mary, so Mary is a string because it's a sequence of characters, M-A-R and Y, so on and so forth. So but we'll be seeing strings in much details on the coming videos. So after doing that, just type hello world, then followed by a comma, then dot, then this curly braces over here. So this is are just formatters or print formatters. So if you're coming from languages like C, you can see this as the equivalent of %d when we are trying to format something. But here we can put some variables. So let me illustrate to you. So I can just define a variable, but we'll see variables in later videos. Just follow me. So I'll start by saying const, meaning I want to declare a constant variable, followed by the name. So I will name it person is equals to, followed by this double quotation mark or double quotation marks, then followed by just a name. Let me say something like Mary, and then terminate it with a semicolon like that. So over here, if you want to print this value inside our print function, it's just simple. You can put it over here. So you can say person. Now this will refer to a variable over here, and when doing that, you have to just type this curly brace over here, these two curly braces over here, which will match, which this value will be inserted inside over here, inside of these two curly braces. So it will read hello world. So then it will take this value and print it inside our double curly brace over here. So let us run our program. Just go over here or here in these three dots and open your terminal, just new terminal, or a shortcut is Control Shift backtick, a shortcut to open the terminal. So after doing that, I will be showing you how to run it. So let us build it first by typing zig build exe, followed by the name of the file main.zig. Press enter.
Got him! Got him!
So we are greeted by an error. So here you have to specify the type over here. So remember, if you're coming from a language like C, so we are used to writing %d, meaning that's an integer, but here this is a string. You have to type s, saying that the string will be inserted over here. So let us write it again. So let us compile it. So let me clear the screen. So I will clear the screen and just retype this command. So zig build exe, then followed by main.zig, and press enter. So it will build our project, and it will produce 3 files, but the one that we are interested in is this executable over here, this main.exe. So when it has produced this file over here, we have to run it inside our terminal. So it's easy. just type dot, meaning the current folder, then backslash, then the name of the file, main.exe, like that, then press on enter. So you can see hello world Mary. So you can see the use of putting this. But if you don't have anything over here, you can just delete this one over here, and let us delete this variable because you ain't using it, and just leave it like this. So it's just that simple. So just build your program again and run it. So main.exe and press enter, so it will print hello world. So just to recap, so the first line over here, we're importing a library called the standard Zig library inside our project. So you can see this library as a normal library whereby you can go, you can visit a library which has many books that are useful to a person. So if you want to read a certain book, you can just go and search for a certain book and use it. So this is not different from that literal library. So it comes with many functions. So in this case, these are not books, but it comes with many functions and utilities which we can reuse inside our program. So, and this is the syntax. So you start by saying const, meaning this is a constant value and it won't change, followed by the name std. You can name it whatever you want, but it is a convention to name it std, followed by the assignment operator. So this is not an equal sign, it's an assignment operator, followed by the @import. So this is a keyword. Then inside you say what you are importing. So there are many libraries, but we want the standard library, so the std. So next we have declared a function, and we start by giving it an access modifier or a domain. So this is on the public domain, that's why we have started with pub. Then fn to tell the compiler that we are declaring a function. So followed by this main. So main is a special word that, or a special name for the compiler to see that our program, where to start executing our program. So it starts, this is the main entry point of our program. So followed by these two brackets over here. Then this is the return type. So this is the return type, meaning that we ain't returning anything, and we might return an error. Something can go wrong inside our function and we might return an error in this case. So you just say exclamation mark void, meaning that we are not returning anything inside our function. Then followed by this curly braces over here. So this is the body of our function. So this is where we are writing our function to print something inside the console. So in this case, this hello world program. Then we start by saying std, so referencing this one over here, .debug. So there is a package called debug, or library or module called debug. Then inside there is this function called print. So this print is a function that is enabling us to print text like this. So inside you just type what you want to print, hello world, then you have to finish it with this. So this is the format specifier. You'll see this in later videos. So if you have any question, you can just leave it on the comment section. I will I'll be happy to answer you. And if this video has helped you, just like and subscribe, or even share with your friends. It may help someone. And yes, that's all. So thank you for your time, and I will see you on the next video.